Okay. Turn that other stream off on the other computer. I guess I'll need a little light. There we go. That's better. I'm actually lit up now. So I just got. They dropped. This is Tom Tech Show. We're here today. We're going to talk about episode 1 of Picard. It did drop a little bit early. I did see that. I kept waiting, and I was gonna wait up for midnight to start. Watching the show when it actually started. I checked it like 10 after 11, and it said start watching now. So I immediately started watching it just to go through. I did take notes throughout the episode of Kamisada. Some of the things that I saw, some of the things, just kind of the storyline. So overall, I didn't see that it was being the junky show that we're being told that it is. I liked it. It's an introduction. We're getting introduced to some of the characters. Let me bring up the IMDb with all the character information. But Star Trek Picard. There are a few things. I mean, we knew that there was going to be Data was going to be in some kind of cameos, and we saw him a couple times in some different uniforms. As Captain Picard, as they're being twisted about a little bit with his memory, and how this is kind of, whether that's connected to Data or this is connected to Borg, because sometimes we'll hear Borg kind of sounds when different things are going on. So I don't know if eventually, well, if you saw the episode, then you know that towards at the very end, right, what you see. I don't know if we want to spoil anything at this point, but it moved at a pretty good pace. It kind of just started introducing the different characters to us, getting us kind of used to the scene and what was going on. Of course, some of the things that we've seen before, which is him and Data doing the little poker game. Some of those other things about him on the vineyard and the dog and all that. And all that was okay. I thought that was pretty good. I don't really mind him calling the dog number one. I mean, that's fine. I mean, we called our dog that we had to put down last year, we called him Boba, which is Boba Fett from Star Wars, so I don't think that's anything bad. Maybe as we move into some more of the other parts of the show, that it's going to start getting worse. I mean, they did mention some things about, how the Romulan supernova is causing this complete, almost like a climate change thing. They had to bring this climate change thing that's coming in to try and kind of make it political or something. But it was just a second. I don't think that I don't know that it was really poking directly at all the climate change things that are going on. I don't know if that's everything about it, or it was just one of those things that this is what happened, right? It wasn't like nailing it into people. We need to do something about climate change. It's just like, this is what's going on, and we need to find. And that was kind of dropped pretty quick, and then we went off onto Daj and her being there and things like that, which we know about from the previews and everything else. At some point I'll get into more maybe of the spoilery things about the episode, but just we don't get much in space. I mean, I'd heard rumors that we don't get into space until the third episode, but we do towards the end of this one. We do get some things. Picard himself doesn't get into space yet, but we do get some scenes from space, and we're setting up a lot of different things as we go on. How many episodes is this thing going to be? Is like 8 episodes or something like that. Let me look this up. Should be on IMDb here. Season 1 is showing we're going to have 10 episodes. Okay, so we're going to get kind of the arc of 10 episodes um, and that should be good for one storyline. I don't know if we're gonna branch out after that. I mean, I can see this storyline that they're doing now being wrapped in 10 episodes. I don't know if they're going to want to drag it out. I know they've already got it pinned there that there's a second season. Um, Patrick Stewart is getting pretty old up there. He's in his 80s, I believe, and it's when there's an explosion and he's blown backwards, and he just suddenly arrives back at the vineyard, and he's unscathed seemingly, and wakes up after being knocked out. I'm like, yeah, an 80-year-old's going to be taking a little bit more than that. So hopefully they don't really explain any of that, that he was like healed or helped or taken anywhere. But we'll see, if they bring his age into factor at all, if that's going to be part of it. It doesn't seem to be so far. They're just kind of blowing that off, that we can basically blow Picard up and and let him go at that. So I kind of didn't think that was too believable. But into the story, so we have the story of this woman, Daj, who sees Picard in an interview. They're interviewing about the whole Romulan supernova thing that happens, and how they started to Starfleet started to do some relocation of the Romulans, and then they stopped, and then Picard left Starfleet because that's not what he wanted and what he believed Starfleet would be. He thought Starfleet would be more caring and everything else, would be able to continue this relocation of Romulans and be able to, save as many as they could, because they said, she was saying, well, the woman interviewing said, saving all these, they're going to save all these Romulans, and he said, all these Romulan people, and he said, no, we're going to just save people. So that might have been a direct kind of political jab that, all the immigrants and migrants that are coming up from the South, in the Mexican border and everything else, and how we can't save them or whatever. I'm not making a kind of a statement either way, but it's kind of a ploy on that a little bit. So they're working a little bit of political things in here, making some political statements that could be in Star Trek. I'm just saying that, it could be there. It could be, that's how, it wasn't blatant, that it was pointing directly to that, but it definitely a small commentary on it. And that's kind of what, came out of and brought all this stuff out. So, for the interview, and then the woman Daj has this incident where she's attacked and her boyfriend's killed and everything, and then she goes and finds Picard, and they go on a little bit of an adventure here and there, end up in San Francisco, and then oddly enough, Daj gets killed, like right away. I'm like, okay, this is odd. We're killing off characters right away, but lo and behold, when they find out they're creating. Picard goes to the Daystrom Institute, and we get mention of what's his name, from who was trying to make a new data, right? What's his name? It's Bruce Maddox. There we go. So Bruce Maddox said, we don't get to see him, the actor. I don't know if the actor wasn't going to come in, or be able to be there, or scheduling conflict, or they just didn't want to bother writing him in and bringing him into it because they were giving that to somebody else. But he's creating these beings, and oddly enough, when they create them for some magical reason, they have to create them in pairs. So there's another Daj somewhere else, and that Daj is named Dr. Assel or something, Astley or something like that. Let's go back to the cast listing here, and we'll find that out. So it's Doesn't even say. It's Dodge slash something, and they block it out. So they're very good. So she is apparently working with the Romulans, and this is towards the end of the show. So there really isn't, I mean, there's a lot of movement, a lot of different things going on. And it moves really slowly, but it like is stretched to the 49 minutes, the 45 minutes actually of the show. But not a lot happens. Picard gets interviewed. The woman, Daj, finds him. She gets attacked, goes to find him. She leaves and then comes back, and then, little extra things, I think, just to stretch the episode out. And then they go to San Francisco. She meets Picard in San Francisco because he has to go there to look at this portrait that Data had painted that had Daj's face from 30 years ago. So now that's where we find out her identity, and that Bruce Maddox saw this painting or something somehow, and he's the one that created these pair of kind of synthetic beings with positronic brains. And the one, while they're in San Francisco, the Dodge one gets blown up by the Romulans, and then the other one we find out is on this ship with the Romulans, and as they pull back from this ship that they're on, we find out that it's a Borg cube that they're on, and maybe they're integrating Borg technology and stuff into synthetic beings or something, and creating their own synthetic army. I have no idea, but they're living on a Borg ship. Maybe it's because they're refugees from the Romulan supernova, and that's just the ship that they are on. So then that's the end of the episode. We cut off and we head over, and they play some previews and stuff for the next upcoming episodes. For what's going on. Most of the stuff that we've already seen in some of the other commercials and things like that, and trailers and stuff. So, I mean, it wasn't bad. I really didn't think it was that bad. I mean, you could say that the Dodge character, you could call her Mary Sue if you wanted, but not really, because she didn't know about her ability, and then that ability was triggered by the attack. So that ability was already there, programmed into her, and then she attacked and was able to fight off the people that were there and had killed her boyfriend and stuff like that. So that was pretty good. I mean, it's not as bad as I think people have been commenting about. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it went slow. I think that was the only thing, that it was slow. They took a story that probably could have been in, Mandalorian time of episodes, like 30 minutes, and stretched it out to 42. So that's about all I can say about that. Okay, I have a bird over here that's screaming, so I need to go take care of it. Hold on. Okay. Bird covered better, so maybe be quieter. It's late, so I didn't bother moving the birds out. Often I'll move the birds out in order to make videos, but it's late. So we'll see how it progresses, whether it kind of goes. It's supposed to be some kind of dystopian thing, and we haven't gotten much of that because we're on Earth, and we're at the Vineyard, and then we go to Starfleet in San Francisco, and that that's all kind of known kind of Star Trek things that we know, and it wasn't like things weren't destroyed, things weren't torn down or anything like that. It's all still built and like regular Starfleet. So, and that is all stuff that we know. Even the Daystrom Institute was a nice, clean, fancy building and all that. So I think once we get out into space, then it's going to start hitting dystopian stuff and be more kind of torn up, more Hunger Games, I guess you might say. But again, I can't really see much wrong so far. I mean, it can take a complete dive. I'm sure other people are going to be hating on it, but I actually enjoyed it. Um, I loved seeing Patrick Stewart on screen again as Captain Picard. Um, he seems a little bit vulnerable, which I think is one thing that they were going for. Um, how he's kind of he's left Starfleet. He's by himself. He has a couple of people that are there on his on the vineyard that help him and do different things, but he's still Captain Picard to me, and he still kind of seemed that way. Uh, and it seems like as we move into it, he's going to still be Captain Picard, and I'm thinking it's going to be better than people are saying. But anyway, we'll see as we get there. This first episode called Remembrance, I guess, is kind of getting us remembering. I mean, the Data cameo was good and kind of made sense. It wasn't them just taking Data and putting, like building a lore and setting him there for him to talk to. It was him remembering and dreaming about that. So it that made sense. But we'll see. I'm guarded, I guess, at this point with how it's going, but we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that it continues along this line. So far it's not gone Star Trek Discovery crazy, but we'll see. I'd give it a 7 out of 10 rating. I mean, like I said, I liked it. Other people may not, but I'm going okay. I'm guarded. I'm hoping that it's going to be, what I want it to see. I'm sure this right here that I put here is not correct. So, we'll just put this. It says Rise of Skywalker, which I don't want it to say. I wanted to say Picard. Picard. There we go. Page is being saved. Okay. Let's Picard. There we go. This changes are being saved, and hopefully they're saved. You see my video over here. Yes. Okay, that's correct. All right, changes are being saved. Okay, so we're talking about Picard. Again, let me go over. I'll start kind of from the beginning again a little bit. That I did like the episode. They played Blue Skies, which is something that Data played, and Data did in the Next Generation series, and I thought that was a good kind of intro because we started on the Enterprise and 10 Forward. So I guess that's the little bit of space that you get at the beginning when he's having his kind of dream about it, and they're on 10 Forward and playing cards. Now, when Data lays down his cards, there's 5 Queen of Hearts. So there's some speculation that the Queen may be Q, the Queen, maybe, the Queens may be the Queen Borg. All different kinds of speculation about that. We'll see if that goes somewhere or what happens, in that. So that was interesting. And then it's kind of a dream about when, I guess in the history, they created a bunch of other androids, and they kind of revolted and took down a defense shield on Mars, and then Mars attacked Mars, and it exploded, and a lot of explosions, and destroyed the colony on Mars. So that Picard kind of took to heart, I think, that maybe that was partly his fault. And we do go to Boston next, is where we have the couple that's sitting there, the Daj and her boyfriend, and then they get attacked by people in black suits wearing black helmets, and you don't know who they are. And that's when Daj gets kind of activated. They put a bag over her head and are going to kill her, and she becomes like a ninja and just basically takes the guys out, defeats 3 guys in the room, and then sees flashes of Picard, that she needs to go find Picard. And then she sees him on the 10th anniversary of the Romulan supernova interview, and then runs off and goes and tries to find him. Then finds him, and then she leaves for some reason, and she's afraid. And then Picard goes to San Francisco and finds the painting in the archive that Data had created 30 years ago that had the face of Dahj on the painting. And that was the painting, or the face, that Bruce Maddox used to create the twin synthetic androids that are in the show. So Picard only knows about one of them initially, and then Dahj, of course, gets blown up, and then the storyline going, and now we have the actress over on the other side doing that. So then we find that the other Dahj, Dr. Astley, is with a Romulan named Merrick, and they're out on a ship somewhere, and they're talking about the struggles and everything that they're having, and everything with what's going on. And they get through with their conversation, they pull back, and they're on a Borg ship. Now, we don't know, is this Borg ship because they're refugees and they are there because there was no place else to go? Then after that, of course, the episode fades to black, and we see some previews for what's coming up with, Riker and other characters, and 7 of 9 and things like that. They're showing a lot of things. We don't know what episodes those are going to be out, but looks like there's going to be some more action. Whether we get to the new characters that are coming in, we didn't see many of them. We saw this one doctor at the Daystrom Institute that's going to come with them. That's Dr. Agnes Girardi. She's going to be coming with them, so we'll see how that goes. She seems like a sensible character, not, just definitely a scientist and wanting to do, her scientific-y things, and that's fine, right? Nothing crazy. I thought that was all good. Like I said, I'm giving this one 7 out of 10. I really liked it. We'll see if it maintains it. The Mandalorian was able to bring it up a little bit as it went through, but we'll see. I did get a code. I mean, if some of you haven't put in yet, there's a code. Let's see. There's a code here, and it is coming here. If you go and you sign up for CBS All Access and you put in the discount code D3M8A5, I found that online, and I was giving you half off your first 2 months. So I'll put that in the description here of the video, but D3M8A5. So if you're going to subscribe to CBS All Access, that'll get you half off your first 2 months. So I'm paying for the one with the commercial, so it's basically being $2.99 a month, which is fine for me. Any discount on it, especially if it goes wrong, especially if it goes bad, then I don't want to pay too much for it. All right, well, I am going to head to bed, and so I can get up and head to work in the morning. I just wanted to come on and do a quick little video of what I thought, and we'll see how they go from this point on, whether they get better or they get worse. All right. Well, thanks for watching this one. Take care.